Okay, very good morning all of you. Myself is the Dr D Santha Rao, Professor and Head of the Mechanical Engineering Department. Going to discuss about manufacturing and its applications metal forming. So, what is the word of is manufacturing? The manufacturing is the process of converting the raw material into useful shape is the key. So, while making the useful shape, so number of processes have been carried out, maybe casting process, welding process or machining process. And another important process is called the metal forming process. This is a forming process. Cursor, sorry. So, number of classes are required to discuss about the metal forming process. Though it is a basic concept, I will discuss about what is use of metal forming process now. So, at the end of the lecture, the student able to get about what is metal working process, classification of the metal working process, so hot working and cold working process. So, one of the important metal working process is called the rolling, and we will speak about the rolling fundamentals and also what type of forces are required for making the rolling and power requirements, the defects in rolling, and then we will be discussed about the advantages, disadvantages and applications. So, now when come to the word of metal forming, so it is a mechanical working process which are primarily named as shaping process, in which any metal or alloy, any solid metal or alloy which is subjected to mechanical forces. So, under the action of external forces, or what is called the mechanical forces, which may be tensile, compressive or any other type of forces there here, the shape and size piece of the metal piece undergoes a change. So, macro level you can observe the changes that here. So, now by mechanical working process, the given shape and size of the machine part can be achieved with the great economy in material and time is there. So, what is economy and what material can be saved, what is the time can be saved. So, in the economy in the sense of that, so casting process, it is a phase change process where the metal is melted, pour into the mold is that, and then take the object from the mold. So, it is a phase liquid state to solid state. Number of defects are chances are there for the more number of defects. It is also costly process. It is an environmentally polluted process. Another type of manufacturing process is the machining process, where the desired shape and size of the object can be obtained by removing the material from the surface of the workpiece. So, now while removing the material may be removed in the form of the small amount of small chips is that here. So, that is named as that here. So, after removing the chips, you will get into required shape. So, maybe you can use the lathe machine, drilling machine, milling machine or NC or CNC, different type of machines may be used it. So, whatever the material removed as the waste is that, so that is called the scrap. So, which is a somewhat disadvantageous. So, forever and there is no such type of scrap will be present in case of metal forming process. The metal forming is possible in case of metals or alloys which are sufficiently able to malleable and ductile. So, malleable and ductile has some two type of properties which is required for the which primarily requirement for the metal working process. So, ductility is ability to deform, both are that able to deform, material is able to deform under the action of either tensile or compressive forces. If the material is able to deform under the action of tensile forces called the ductile. If the material is able to deform under the action of compressive forces is called the malleable. So, the bolt can be shaped into smaller and smaller object. So, because of the malleable property. So what will happen in case of metal forming process? Metalworking process requires that a material which may undergoes a plastic deformation during its processing. The metal is plastically deformed. Metal is not sufficiently malleable or ductile at the room temperature. Sometimes, in such a case, is that metal may be heated, and based on that, metalworking process or forming process can be classified into again two type of process. So one is called the hot working process, other one is called the some cold working process. So by adopting cold working and hot working process, so the amount of force applied on the material that it can be decreased. That is the advantage of that. But there is a number of disadvantages also there with the hot and cold working process. The number of benefits also there that will be seen later there here. So now when the metal is subjected to external force, the first one, anything is that the first will goes to elastic deformation. Material will deform elastically, and again upon increasing the again this plus some force applied, so then will goes to plastic state is that here. If the metal is applied in the elastic limit, if it is a load is applied in the elastic limit, it is removed that and we will get to the original shape is that. So and the force to be applied on the material can be determined first is that here. So beyond the elastic limit. For example, helical springs when loaded, stitches when loaded and returns to the original shape when the load is removed. If the force on the metal is increased sufficiently, it undergoes what is called the plastic deformation or permanent deformation. So it doesn't comes to the original shape is that here when force is removed. So the macroscopically the metal forming process is applied, the desired shape and sizes of the metal or alloy are obtained, and but something is happens inside that here micro level. So there are the two possible mechanisms, so where the plastic deformation takes place. So usually in the case of crystal structures, the material is composed of crystals. Again, crystal is composed of atoms, the group of atoms here. So the atoms may be slipped or moved when the load is applied. So one place to other place, adjacent place is that here. Either in the slip plane, it may be taken place is that here. Otherwise, even there some twinning of the atoms also takes place due to application of the shear force is that here. So that is called the shear stress. So will also be decided and based on that. So when come to that, so how do we define the word of metal forming process? Now we'll see. So number of ways you can define the word is called the metal forming process. So sometimes you can say change is that simply you can say that changing the existing shape of the component under the action of external forces called the metal forming process. So in the technically you can define also in the other way also. The metal forming process can be defined as in which the desired shape and sizes are obtained through plastic deformation of the material. So the stresses applied are greater than the yield strength and up to the fracture strength. So this is called the what is called the metal forming process. So in and around you can observe the number of applications related to metal forming, and simply in the daily use stapler. So that may be made by metal forming process. So for wrenches generally used, the wrenches generally be used tightening of the bolt or nut or. So maybe pipe wrench. So maybe pipe wrench or any type of wrench is there. So that is made by all type of wrenches, either 12 or 10 size, something 2 size, something is that. So whoever uses in the bicycle repairing or motorcycle or car is there, so repair people use it. So that is called the wrench. Even in the regular use also, we also use in our domestic purpose also. So all wrenches are made by what is called the metal forming process, which is made of high carbon steel, and also tubeless fixture. So even also it can also be made by that. Another example in the childhood level or other levels is that may be seen that what is called the bicycle handle of the bicycle or motorcycle bicycles, which are made by this process. Ball bearings, coins, engine blocks, automobile body, metal body, wire good hanger. So what we call some holding the short is that straight wire by bending and twisting into shape of hanger. So that is called the These are called some few applications. The criticality is more of that, and also manufacturers will choose the metal forming as one of the manufacturing process. So internal defects will also be avoided by using this type of process. So other type of process may not be possible there, but somewhat it is a costly process. And based on that, metal forming process can be classified into different types. Is that based on the type of force applied? Maybe I spoke that. So it is called the compression type, indirect compression type, tension type, bending type, and shear type is that. So for forming the shape is that. So in the direct compression type, we see there, and what you will see that force is applied onto the surface of the workpiece, and the metal force flows in the right angles to the direction that here. Metal flows in the direction, right angle to the direction. See that. So between the forging process and also rolling process, so between the rollers, the work is moved there, and then it is compressed into smaller diameter. So usually in case of rolling process. In case of forging process, one of the die is kept constant, other die is called the movable die, is called the upper die. Is that after placing the work is that the load is applied onto the material, and by the upper die is that, so that the metal can be compressed and which right angles to the direction of load applied. You can see there, direction of load applied. If the load is applied in this direction, the metal flows right angles to on either side is that here. So it is called the forging and rolling process. 30 to 40% of the rolling process are made by the rolling and then forging also. So in the indirect compression type process, the primary forces are tensile, indirect compressive forces are developed by the reaction of workpiece with a die which is the high values. Therefore metal flows the combined state is called the, what is called the wide drawing, tube drawing, deep drawing, and also extrusion. Is another type of process. It's called the extrusion also there. It's called the deep drawing, tube drawing, and this another type is called the wide drawing process. In the tensile type of process, so this is the material, a tensile force is applied on the sheet is that. So like that is a one type of process called the stretch forming, where the metal sheet is wrapped to the contour of the die. This is called this some contour of the die under the action of application of tensile forces. And you see that, and how this is called the some die is that. So we need to form the straight piece into in this form is that, and it's called the movable and fixed die is that. After placing that, the metal is pulled or force is applied on this direction there, the finally will get into shape is that. It's called the tensile type of process. In the case of bending also, the one type is that application of the bending movement to the sheet is that. This is the bending sheet is that. And in case of shearing is that, and punch and die system can be used where the material can be separated. It's called the other type of process called the sheet metal operations type. Okay, so these are called the what is called the different type of processes. So thank you for listening. This class is that. The next class we will take up the another topic related to metal forming. Thank you all.